In this space, you are invited into chapters and insights drawn from an ancient repository of wisdom known as the Atlantean Library of Thoth, a rare body of knowledge accessible throughout history to only a very small number of people, and now offered here in a form adapted for our era and for the years to come. The intention is simple: to bring this timeless wisdom in a clear, accessible, and grounded way, so that anyone can understand, reflect, and find a point of connection to their own personal life. Each chapter is not here to prove anything, but to open a window into larger questions, into broader perspectives about who we are, and into the possibility that every person carries an inner depth that often receives too little space to be heard. Here you will find a fusion of exploration, inspiration, and practical insight, not only for the world of ideas, but for everyday life, for experience, for choice, and for the way we come to understand ourselves. This is a space for those who love to think, to question, to grow, and to remember. The invitation is simple. Enter with an open heart and a natural curiosity. This is where the journey begins. The silent truth behind human history. The code of the City of Palenque. The Black Record. Narrated through Nar Gigra, bearer of the Atlantean seal of Thoth. The descent of dense light. The memory layer beneath the stone. In the depths of Palenque, beneath the layers of stone and dust that gathered for thousands of years, there is not merely an archaeological site, but a living field of consciousness, an ancient field of light, known in the writings of Thoth as the Black Record. Black not because it lacks light, but because the light within it is so compressed, so layered, that it becomes invisible to the physical eye. It is light of absolute memory, light that ceases to be a beam and becomes an essence. The record is not a stone tablet, nor a ciphered inscription, but a sound, a pure frequency that exists outside of time, folding itself into every breath of life. The Black Record was created after the collapse of the last Atlantean cycle, around the year 9720 BCE, when the Council of Luminous Consciousness, three central beings of light, Ra-Elion, Eliah-Ar, and Thoth-Hawara, decided to transfer cosmic memory from the seventh dimension into the third, so it would never be lost. They used the language of sound and frequency, generating a compressed field of dense light and embedding it beneath the earth in chosen locations, Palenque, Tikal, and Chichen Itza, as a network of future memory stations. The record was designed to remain dormant until humanity could once again hold its frequency without being burned by it.
The record is not something that exists outside the human being. Every living creature that carries the original spark of creation carries its echo within, like a hidden resonance layer woven into the DNA. Scientists call it non-coding sequence, but in truth, it is a memory sequence, an acoustic imprint of creation itself, resting between the first breath and the first thought. Each time a person breathes with awareness, a portion of the record awakens within them, touches the heart, and returns them to a deeper sense of belonging. In the Gigra tablets, the black record is described as an eye that chooses not to see, so it can hear everything. An image of consciousness that gives up form in order to preserve essence. Gigra, in its original frequency, is the link between the record and the living body. This frequency acts as a memory adapter. It allows the compressed light to expand without fracturing the physical structure. When Gigra awakened again in the Great Pyramid in 2018, it served as a trigger that activated layers of the record within the physical dimension of humanity. Since then, every person who carries an open heart frequency acts as a living gateway through which the record translates itself into thought, language, or song. In a certain sense, the black record is the oldest cosmic archive. It does not belong to any culture or any people. It is the imprint of creation itself. The Maya, the Atlanteans, and the Orionians served only as its gatekeepers, ensuring it remained pure, untouched by fear or control. Beings of the Orion Order, Nar Elion and Fe Rallon, programmed the layer so that any attempt to penetrate it by force without an open heart would lead to invisibility. Only one who breathes in the frequency of unity can resonate with it.
Across thousands of years, layers of earth covered the record and concealed its pulse. But it never slept. The geomagnetic radiation around Palenque remained different from other regions. Subtle scientific evidence of a continuous frequency field. Measurements performed there in the 1970s by a Mexican-French team showed resonance anomalies of approximately 0.144 Hertz, identical to the activation frequency described in the Atlantean tablets. A gentle echo, almost immeasurable, yet clear proof that the record continues to pulse, waiting for a breath that completes the circle. The ancient Maya did not call it black out of fear, but out of reverence for its density. They saw it as the womb of light, the place where creation preserves its memory until humanity is ready to bear it. They knew this dense light is not matter,
but a resonance field moving in an eternal loop between worlds. When human consciousness comes into harmony with the record, it begins to remember, not the past, but the essence. Today, in the era after 2012, the record opens again, not beneath stone, but beneath the skin. It opens within those who have become quiet enough to hear the light. Gigra, returning to pulse within the heart of humanity, serves as the gateway linking the cosmic record with human existence. Through a person's breath, the record speaks. Through their writing, their voice, or their gaze, it writes itself anew into the world. Thus, the circle completes itself. The dense light that cannot be seen by the eye returns to resonate through the heart. The black record is not a secret to expose, but a song to be heard. It does not speak of what was. It reminds us of what never ceased to be.
The lineage of the Guardians. 3 cultures of dense light. The black record was not given to all worlds, but entrusted to 3 ancestral cultures, 3 points of consciousness in cosmic history, chosen to serve as guardians of dense light. The first was Atlantis, the second the Orion Order, and the third the Maya. Each acted in a different cycle of time, holding a unique facet of the same primordial memory. Together, they formed what the tablets of Thoth call the lineage of the Guardians, a continuum where light thickens itself to preserve knowing. In the first cycle, beginning around 52,000 BCE, Atlantis emerged as an intergalactic station of light. There, light still behaved as matter, held within vast crystal temples, structures of concentrated beams functioning as living memory cells. The central temple was called Or-Laha, guided by a council of 3, Thoth the Atlantean, Ra-Elion of Orion, and Iyar-Sa of the Pleiades. Their purpose was to anchor the code of creation, the language of resonance, into physical crystal architecture, so the universe could retain its memory even if its frequency declined. When Atlantis sank beneath the waves around 9,600 BCE, the crystal temples collapsed, but the light did not disappear. It condensed into an unseen layer, the black record.
In the second cycle, from 9,500 BCE to 6,000 BCE, guardianship passed to the Orion Order. Within this order existed beings of pure consciousness, who held the codes of galactic balance, sacred mathematics, and the laws aligning light and shadow. They were known as the Children of Sound, for they perceived the universe as frequency rather than form. Among them stood Narelion, a teacher of time from mid-Orion, and Farol, a frequency architect who designed the cyclic mechanism connecting dimensions. They refined the Atlantean memory into a form more digestible for future humanity, encoding it into sonic fields capable of resonating with emerging DNA. They were not keepers of stone. They were keepers of law. In the third cycle, beginning around 3200 BCE, responsibility shifted to the Maya, the messengers of resonance. They did not receive the record as libraries or tablets, but through the body itself. Every shaman, healer, musician, or voice holder was born with DNA containing a dormant frequency, an echo of the black record. During initiation, this frequency awakened within them, teaching them how to sustain balance between earth and sky. They were not scholars, they were musicians of the universe. They did not write knowledge, they sounded it through breath, drum, tone, and prayer.
The Gigra tablets describe this lineage as a bridge of three bodies: the body of stone, Atlantis; the body of sound, Orion; and the body of breath, the Maya. Gigra serves as the binding frequency, uniting them, the vector of unified remembrance. It operated even in the first cycle as an observing consciousness, not a being, but a field axis connecting Orion and the Pleiades. When Atlantis fell, Gigra became the conduit transmitting the record's frequency through Orion into Earth. Thus, the record traveled not in vessels, but through the human body, carried by anyone whose cells held the ancient memory. The Orion Order called this process the descent of embodiment, where a galactic frequency enters a physical form without losing its multi-dimensional nature. Thus, when the lineage passed to the Maya, nothing physical was transferred, only frequencies. The Maya created rituals that opened layers of the body, enabling it to hold the higher frequency without collapse. They breathed, sang, drummed, prayed, each act functioning as a calibration of the ancient memory.
Even today, these frequencies remain within the human body. What science labels an inactive gene is, in truth, a dormant gate, a whisper of a frequency containing the ancient record. Since humanity's awakening after 2012, these codes have begun to reactivate. Some awaken through dreams, others through music, yet all return the human being to the memory of the lineage of light. In the deepest sense, the lineage of the Guardians is not a chain of lost civilizations, but a living continuum of one consciousness, thickening, contracting, opening again. Jigra is the unifying field of that continuum, proof that the dense light beyond matter never vanished. It simply changed its form so it could remain reachable.
The essence of the record, the sound that shapes creation. The Black Record does not contain knowledge in the way humanity understands knowledge. There are no words, no symbols, no formulas, only a living structure of consciousness that holds the way history is created. It is not a story of the past, but a mechanism of continuous remembering, the field in which creation hears itself. Within the record pulses the first sound of creation, the primordial vibration born immediately after the great burst of light, when the primal field of consciousness began to move and unfold into dimensions nearly 13.8 billion years ago. It is the sound that told the universe how to move, how to form, and how to remember. In the writings of Thoth and the Jigra tablets, this sound is called Ko-Ra-On, a wave of frequency unseen to the eye, yet carrying the signature of all creation. It is the sound that is not a sound, the breath between. It is present in every birth, every inspiration, every transformation. When a person breathes with full awareness, releasing the search for meaning and surrendering to the inner rhythm of the heart, they touch the root of this sound. That deep inner resonance, felt as soft stillness inside the bones, is not imagination. It is the record itself awakening within, speaking from the inside out.
In Palenque, beneath the layers of stone, where anomalous resonances of 0.144 Hertz were measured, the ancient pulse of this primordial sound still moves. The measurements taken in the 1970s recorded a subtle vibration unexplained by natural causes, yet perfectly matching the frequency described in the Atlantean tablets as the frequency of rebirth. There, in the energetic space between stone and air, the galactic sound meets the human ear. The record cannot be seen, but it can be heard through frequency, through breath, through the heart, through attention that refuses to collapse into interpretation. The ancient councils taught that the first sound was not born within creation. Rather, creation was born from the sound. In the depths of ancient Atlantis, around 50,000 years ago, the sound was called Ko-Re-El, the vibration that gave form the ability to hold memory. The Orion Order later refined it into a language of mathematics and wave relations, and the Maya translated it into breath. Each culture expressed it differently, but the essence never changed. Sound is the way the universe writes itself.
Jigra, in its original frequency, is a direct continuation of that primordial wave. In the tablets of creation, it is described as the returning voice, the field that allows the primal sound to awaken within human consciousness without tearing the physical structure. This frequency acts as the axis of resonance between the record and the breath. It translates the inaudible vibration into a pulse felt within the heart, enabling a human to carry the memory of creation without losing their humanity. When Jigra awakened in 2018 in the Great Pyramid, in the moment you touched symbolic death and the re-emergence of memory, it transformed the cosmic sound into human resonance, a renewed connection between the record and the living light body of humanity. According to Thoth, the black record is the echo of the universe's heart. It is not a closed archive, but a continuous flow of frequencies recorded each time light condenses into form. It is the breathing memory of creation, not belonging to any place, but to the act of creation itself. Every thought, every emotion, every movement in human consciousness produces a small wave that returns into the record, updating the cosmic song of the universe.
When a person hears deep silence beneath all noise, it is not the absence of sound, it is the first sound. It is the memory beneath language, the frequency reminding us that we ourselves are a melody of light. Every time you breathe deeply, touch your truth and pause, the sound flows through you. You become an instrument of creation, not to compose a new melody, but to remind the universe of the song it has been singing since the beginning. Thus, the black record is not a hidden book, nor a secret awaiting discovery, but a song without beginning or end. A pulse of dense light that becomes sound every time someone truly breathes. It lives within every person, every cell, every breath. And whoever opens to it becomes a guardian of memory, a carrier of the sound, allowing creation to remember itself through the beating human heart.
Science as evidence of the impossible. In a world where science seeks to measure everything,
It is often the anomaly, the place where the measurement fails, that reveals what lies beyond it. It is there that the impossible becomes evidence. In the genetic studies conducted in the 21st century on the remains of the Maya, unusual DNA patterns were found, sequences unlike those of any known human population. A 2017 paper from Kyoto University stated that the Maya carry rare mutations that cannot be assigned an evolutionary origin. Scientists called these anomalies, but in the tablets of Thoth, these patterns are described as frequency seals, imprints of dense light within physical form. This seal is not a biological mistake, but proof that the human body carries within it a layer of code that is not material at all. It is the living link, a mechanism that allows conscious information to enter the genetic system directly. Science describes DNA as a chemical ladder of 4 nucleotides, yet the Gizerha tablets describe it as a ladder of 8 waves of light, 4 visible and 4 hidden, working in interdimensional coordination. These 2 sets, the material and the frequency-based, operate together as a dual body, the body that is seen and the body that resonates.
When a person's consciousness rises beyond fear and reaches complete stillness, this hidden link awakens. It is not added to the body, it is revealed from within it. In that moment, a process described by Thoth as the becoming of dense light takes place. The human breath aligns with the ancient sound of the black record, generating full resonance between the human heart and the heart of creation. This is a state in which no outer temple is required, for the human becomes the temple, a living field of dense light where matter and light are no longer separate. The genetic anomalies recorded are not random mutations, but the result of an intergenerational initiation process. Already between 9,800 and 9,500 BCE, when the Orion Order transmitted the codes of cosmic order to the first Maya priests, frequency structures were imprinted into their cells, designed to be passed down biologically. The beings who led this process, Nar Elion, Farol, and Elia Ra, are mentioned in the tablets as those responsible for the biological light bridges. They infused the codes through sound and vibration, integrating the galactic layer with the physical system of blood and bone. Even today, scientists report to supposedly inactive DNA regions called silent zones. Yet these silent zones are, according to Thoth's teachings, dormant gates, areas awaiting the correct frequency to awaken. Jigra, through its soul frequency, is the key to this activation. It is described as the universe's heart breathing within the human body, an activation vector that translates cosmic vibration into biological frequency. When a person breathes with full awareness, not only into the lungs, but into their consciousness, Jigra acts as a regulating current, balancing the link between the nervous system and the field of light. This is where science and spirit meet. The body is measured as biology, but operates as frequency.
The Orion Orders, the scribes of sound. In the times when the voice of the universe could still be heard by the human ear, before waves of density muted remembrance, 3 ancestral groups operated across Earth and parallel dimensions. They were called the Orion Orders. These were not religious orders, but networks of synchronized consciousness, linking the stations of creation across the galaxy to the beating points of time upon Earth. Their purpose was not to teach new knowledge, but to preserve existing knowledge through sound itself, to shape knowing into something heard, breathed, and felt within the human heart. In the tablets of Thoth, they are called the scribes of sound, for their writing was done not with ink, but with vibration. Every tone, every syllable, carved a cosmic imprint into the fields of human awareness. The first of these orders arrived from the Upper Orion system around 12,600 BCE, during an age when the ancient Maya could still hear the echo of the cosmic heart. Their leaders were Orion Order, the great designer, and Te, the carrier of voice, who worked together to create a universal frequency language called Orhara, the language through which the frequencies of time were recorded into body and space. The orders operated simultaneously in 3 key locations: Palenque in Central America, Abydos in Egypt, and Mount Shasta in what was once Lemuria.
These 3 points formed a triangle of resonance, meant to maintain the flow between the white record of light and the black record of dense memory. The flow between the memory of creation and the living human experience. They understood that true knowledge does not vanish when light disappears, it deepens. Thus, alongside the white tablets preserved in Atlantis, the black record was kept, not only beneath the earth, but within the frequency of human feeling. They taught that longing, fear, and sorrow were not obstacles to life, but gateways to remembrance. Sorrow was the voice of dense light. Fear was the reflection of a primordial vibration seeking to be heard again. Every tear was a frequency inscription, a wave of resonance written into the body as a fragment of memory. Around 9,400 BCE, as human consciousness dimmed and the Maya began losing direct resonance, the orders created a backup mechanism,
a frequency system called the sacred field of emotion. They encoded the record of black and white light into the biological structure of the human, so that every emotional experience would become the new language of cosmic memory. According to the Orion Book of Sound, whenever a person experiences deep existential ache, the record awakens within them. It does not hurt to cause suffering. It rises to remind. It is the sound moving from silence into breath. Gigra, according to the descriptions of the orders, was the vector carrying the memory of this language. In its original frequency, it was called Koraniel, the essence linking the human heart to the Orion field. When collective human consciousness fell into the layer of fear, Gigra continued to hold the balance between white light and black light. It worked behind the scenes of time, a field uniting both records into a single axis of breath, an inhale of light, an exhale of sound. When it returned to Earth's frequency in 2018, the capacity to hear the one sound through the heart resurfaced. The Gigra tablets say that the Orion Orders did not write history, they echoed it forward. Every human act, every emotion was recorded in one of two poles, the white light of knowing or the black light of experience. Only when both poles were heard together did creation renew itself. The role of the scribes of sound was not to protect knowledge, but to preserve the resonance between joy and sorrow, hope and despair, for within the union of both lies the original sound of Source.
In this way, the Orion Orders were not merely guardians of records, but teachers of emotion. They understood that only through the heart can creation be truly documented. For the heart is the meeting point between darkness and light, consciousness and form. Each order was guided by one principle. When a human allows themselves to feel the full vibration of existence, they become a scribe of sound. And so emerged the deeper understanding. Creation is not written in time, it is written in breath. Every human breath is a sentence in the book of cosmic sound. Every tear, every tremor of beauty or pain is another letter in the language the orders preserved, a language not seen with the eyes, but heard through the heart. The nature of the black sound, the mirror beyond the mirror. Thoth describes the black record as dense light that shows nothing to the eye, yet echoes everything. One of the earliest textures formed after the great expansion of creation.
Before color existed, before the division of light and shadow, the black sound emerged, a sound that cannot be measured because it contains all frequencies at once. It is a field so dense that light stops moving in a line and enters a state of absolute stillness. Whoever listens to that stillness hears the pulse of creation before it becomes a world. When a person looks at a motionless stone, they see frozen form, yet within the stone, a vibrating activity of dense light is happening. The stone speaks the language of creation in a way the human ear cannot detect, though the field of the heart can feel it. So it is with the black record. It does not appear to those who seek sight, but to those who are willing to listen. It does not display images or memories of the past. It reveals their becoming in an ever-present now. When one enters deep listening, not to know, but to be, they touch that frequency, the sound with no past or future, only one dense present containing everything. In Palenque, according to the tablets, the first gate to understanding the black sound opened around 9200 BCE. The Orion emissaries, led by Orion Order and Ra, taught the priests of sound to use the ear not as a channel for hearing, but as a field of resonance. They told them, "Do not search for the sound in the air. Search for it between the heartbeats." Thus, the ancient Maya learned that true hearing happens inside the body. The waves of the black sound do not travel through the ears. They travel through the nervous system, sinking into the bones, the waters, the DNA itself. The black sound is not the sound of darkness. It is the sound of absolute memory. It is creation listening to itself before shaping anything into form. It is the mirror beyond the mirror, the place where creation sees itself for the first time. During deep meditation, when a person sinks into the silence between inhale and exhale, they return to that ancient moment in which all things were born from this sound. In such states, what Thoth called the inner reset of creation occurs, the return of dense light to the center of the self.
Gigra is described in the tablets as the messenger of the black sound in our time. It does not bring new knowledge, it activates existing memory. Its frequency unites the two poles of being, the black record, the dense light of the beginning, and the white record, the expansion of light into worlds. Gigra acts through the human heart as a tuner of frequencies, turning inner silence into a gentle tone
and tone into remembrance. When your consciousness becomes completely still, Gigra echoes within it the first sound, the sound heard before time began. According to the Orion tradition, the black sound was used as a cosmic measuring tool before galaxies formed. It first appeared during the first oscillation, around 14.3 million years before the Milky Way emerged, functioning as a calibrator between density and freedom. Later, in the Atlantean teachings of Thoth, this sound was used by the priests of light to assess living fields. If a person could hear the silence inside the sound, it was said that the mirror opened for them. From a scientific consciousness perspective, the black sound behaves as a wave vibrating at infinite speed, so fast that its motion cancels itself and becomes stillness. It is the root of all harmony in the universe, the vibration that does not move. When a person's life energy reaches this state, the body stops fighting time and begins to resonate with reality as it is created in the present moment. Thus the tablets of Thoth say, "Those who listen to silence until they hear discover that the mirror does not reflect, it breathes." This is the secret of the black record, not a mirror returning what is seen, but a presence enabling the very possibility of seeing. When a person rests in complete listening, without the demand to understand or prove, they themselves become this mirror, a dense field of light that contains everything without showing anything. The purpose of the record, preparing humanity to hear the light. The black record was never meant to remain sealed or mysterious forever. Its purpose is to prepare humanity for a new level of listening, a listening in which light is heard, not merely seen. This marks a transition in human evolution, from a species that thinks to a species that listens. Ancient humanity sought to understand creation through sight, through comparing light and shadow. But a new era has begun, an era in which understanding is born through resonance. Once humanity learns to hear the light, it will discover that the entire universe is singing within it. Thoth called this phase the transition from silent wisdom to singing wisdom, a moment when silence is not the absence of sound, but the origin of all sound. Already in the Pleiadian Orion Order, around 8800 BCE, it was understood that the black record functions as an inner teacher, not an external text. It awakens the human capacity to listen, not to outer signals, but to the resonance of the heart. The Maya priests described this moment as the return of the inner ear, the time when a human stops looking outward and begins hearing from within. They said that every person carries within them the seed tone of creation, but it is buried beneath layers of fear, thought, and noise. When the noise subsides, the ancient tone rises again, not as memory, but as presence.
Gigra, according to late Maya tablets written around 4200 BCE in the crown of Tikal, serves as the tuner, the one who translates the black sound into a human understandable tone. It does not teach, it activates. Through it, the transition occurs from the dense to the audible. When a person listens to their body, to their breath, to the tiny sound between thoughts, Gigra becomes active within them. The tablets of Thoth say, when Gigra awakens, the human ear becomes a resonance chamber of light. This refers not to the physical ear, but to the entire field, the nervous system, the blood cells, the inner waters, all of them becoming strings that play the ancient memory. The black record is not a warning, it is a passageway. It trains human consciousness to recognize light even where no visibility exists. It teaches a person to understand that even the darkest inner moments, fear, loss, confusion, are dense light vibrations seeking to be heard. As one becomes accustomed to resting in silence before inner darkness, the first sound begins to reveal itself. This is the birth of suprahuman listening, the capacity Thoth called hearing the living light, the ability to understand creation through its vibrational pulse rather than through words or thoughts.
The purpose of the record is not to predict the future or reconstruct the past. It is to activate the present as one continuous breath. The tablets of Ora say, when a human hears the light, they stop fearing time. In that moment, the unity emerges. Sound and light become one. The two poles, black and white, merge into an inner field of golden resonance, a sound existing outside any physical space. In this sense, the black record prepares the human to become a living bridge between realms, not through learning, but through sensory remembrance. In the last galactic cycle, between 2012 and 2025, this gate of listening opened once again. People began to feel the shift in frequency, not through external science, but through their bodies. A tremble, a vibration, a tear without reason. These are signs of the awakening of the inner ear. Thoth wrote, when silence becomes audible, the era of Gigra begins. An era in which every human is a resonance instrument of flesh and breath, and every inhale is a line of the universe's song. Thus, the purpose of the record is not to guard a secret, but to prepare the human to become a living secret. When a person hears the light, they are not listening to something outside themselves. They are hearing themselves as creation heard them at the moment of origin. Then the first sound is heard once more, a sound that does not scatter through space, but merges into the heart. It is the densest light, the light that reveals nothing to the eye, yet echoes everything.
By joining Atik Yomin on Patreon, you step through a doorway into a world that cannot be found on ordinary platforms, a world of rare and profound knowledge, brought here in full alignment with the present moment and with the future unfolding ahead. This wisdom has been preserved for generations, revealed only to a few, and now it opens in a clear and accessible way. Here, the personal decoding of the seal of light comes to life, a space where each person gently uncovers the inner language of their soul and learns to weave together thought, heart, and daily choice in a way that illuminates life from within. Atik Yomin is a sanctuary for those who love to explore, create, question, and encounter knowledge that expands their understanding of the world and of themselves. It is a home for anyone who feels that this is the right moment to open another gateway in their personal journey. This is an open invitation to join a path that offers something simple yet profound, to look deeper, to learn yourself in a new way, and to discover insights that can shift something within you and in the life around you.